All right, welcome to the channel. I'm Aaron Hunzinger. Hopefully I can keep you guys entertained. I go by AHdidit on social media as well as HHR_SS. So, thanks everybody for showing up tonight. This should be an interesting conversation here. We got Rob Shumate in town from Florida, and Mr. fucking Saturday Night Special, Hutchcraft over here. Yeah, so I mean, we're just gonna, we're already kind of in depth in a conversation here. We've been talking all day. Rob's been out all day, so.
Just come join along.
Yeah, just, we're talking HHRs, we're talking cars. I'm hoping to kind of do this a little bit more often on the channel, just get people out that, maybe some of us know, maybe somebody that I know that, would be just good for conversation. So, anyways, we're going to get back into it. These guys were talking about stock motors.
Yeah, still rocking in the stopper. Stock by the minute. Just to say. Only going into other things.
So yeah, that's 6 different setups on there, and it's still the only thing I've done is timing chain.
Yeah,
probably
many
60
setups.
Yeah, probably 60,000 miles on bigger turbo. As of right now, I still think the 252 was the best setup ever.
Okay, so I've had 3 turbos.
Okay.
Obviously the stocker, the KO4, it was fine.
Right.
Then I went to a GTX 2871.
Okay.
And then I went to my current turbo now, so 3582. So it's like 66 millimeter versus, I can't remember, it was like a little bit bigger than the stock turbo.
Right.
It was great. It was amazing.
Right.
Flew for days, but I missed that.
Now,
So,
when I was on the 6262, you noticed, like, obviously there's lag, but it was so bad to
lag's an
where
understatement, but yeah.
if I was going up an overpass, and let's say trying to stay 45 miles an hour, I could not accelerate if I floored it. It would, like if I stayed at, 2,800 RPM.
Just slowly creep.
It wouldn't even, the car would just stay at that, it could only hold, it couldn't get out of its own way. Now obviously once it opened up, it was fine.
Oh yeah.
And it crack open at 4,800,
See, you might be running the problem with the turbine housing being too big.
Right.
So,
Well,
smaller
now
housing,
with the 257, it's not.
yeah, it's not as bad.
Yeah, and the 252 was before, if you rolled into throttle, I'm not saying just smashed it or baby into it, but you
The
could,
rampage would be,
you could just roll slightly into it and it was cracking wastegate before you were even full throttle.
Perfect.
That turbo was awesome. That was a badass setup.
yeah, mine takes days.
Yeah.
I could smoke it in second gear, but man, it's just, when you get to third gear and if it's not, below a certain RPM, it's just like that, and it rips hard.
No, I would, the S257, I would let my wife try to drive it. The 252, no way, because like I said, you would be not even trying to accelerate, and it would spool up and be gone. I'm just trying to accelerate 2 more miles an hour. It's like, oh, you want gas? And then all this, it's like, oh, God.
It's been so long since I driven my, it's like, I don't remember what it feels like anymore.
That's my only experience with
Yeah.
HHRs. The only experience I have in a big turbo HHR is in your car.
I get you down to Florida.
Yeah, and that setup in his car, that's the turbo that's now going to be in my car with the F40.
Well, if you get down in Florida, you'd be like, how do you drive this on the road?
Yeah. Sounds like a good time.
It is a fun time.
Yeah, I accept that challenge.
Any questions you guys have for me?
Yeah, any questions we have for you?
Yeah. What's something you've been dying to ask?
After seeing the work that's been put in here, what do you think?
This is a whole different ballgame than what I've done.
Is it more or less professional than you thought it was going to be?
Okay.
Please answer that honestly.
Yeah, that's
please,
what I'm saying.
Please
That's
answer that honestly. Like, don't blow smoke up my ass on this.
Or
I'm gonna be genuine. You have. I remember when you were building the wing on the red car, and when you shaved your hatch the first time. I remember that when you did all this, and you've learned, you've grown definitely. You have definitely stepped your game for sure. Just to take on a big project like this is. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your rear, but taking on a project like this, this is something I would love to do. I just wish I had time for it.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier today, I mean, it's this was a big pill for me to swallow too, like getting in on this car, and it's been a snowball. I mean, you can go back and watch any of the lives that I've done. It's been a snowball.
Yeah.
You know, I had no intentions of doing the wide body when we brought the car in here.
No,
The Mini Cooper roof wasn't an intention.
Yeah,
you know.
I didn't know you were gonna go this.
I don't know that I did at the beginning either, but the only reason this car is in this garage right now, Joe and I went for breakfast one morning. We were going to pick up a car or going to the yard or something, and we were having a conversation about how I had the red car and I had the panel at the time. And the panel was just sitting in my mom's garage, literally with a cover on it, very rarely getting driven. And the conversation came up where he said to me, he's like, dude, there's nothing else you can do with the red car. He's like, you can shave the doors. He's like, but other than that, he's like, it's bagged. It's like, the only thing that would make that car better is if it was a panel. And you have a panel in your garage. He's like, so you're really running out of excuses.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, by all means, I didn't take it as you talking shit. I mean, it was that nudge of.
Well, it was also getting you to like as cool as and as much fun as we have with these. There's no reason to have two of the same type of build. You know, it's like just make the one cool.
No, I love how you just went balls and walls on this. I'm still worried about my fingers though. I'm getting caught in that door.
Yeah, no, my fingers are worried too. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel bad for the first person.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks like a guillotine.
Yeah,
fingers.
I mean, you will lose a finger. There is no weather stripping on this back hatch.
But man,
But I mean,
I could see the finished product and it looks pretty badass.
And that's kind of where I'm at now too. Like at the point that the car is at now, like I can stand back at my toolbox and look at the car from the back forward. And that's all, like this 3/4 shot has always been my favorite angle of any HHR. And at the point that I'm at now, like I feel like I can see like the finished product.
I get this question a lot. I hang out with some car collectors, and they said doing the mods to that car loses the value, and I just told them I didn't care. Have you ever had that question? Somebody be like, well, why do all this work? It's a collector's car.
So I get, not trying to toot my own horn, I get very little hate for the things that I've done on this car, you know, and the people that I've received the most hate from is probably the purists within the HHR community who say that I've ruined a perfectly good car. And in my own defense, this car holds more of a value to me than I could ever put a price tag on it to resell it in the future. For the simple fact that this car is already a rebuilt title, right? So this car, it doesn't hold the same value as a clean title vehicle. I bought it knowing that it was, you know, a rebuilt title, which is the easiest decision it was for me to cut into it. It's like, really
When I got my panel, I didn't think any of it out of a collector car. When I bought my car, I didn't even barely did the research. I didn't realize how rare it was.
I don't know if you realize, but your sticker is directly over your shoulder.
I know, that's why I picked this car.
Yeah, that's a great sticker.
How many miles are on your car when you got it?
30,000.
And how many now?
67,000.
Very cool. And
How many years?
And
I bought it in 2013.
cash money? Or how much was cash money, if you don't mind?
I think I paid, I want to say I paid 13 for it.
Very cool. Good price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying to get it off the lot. It sat on the lot for like, I think a couple of months. And no one would buy it because it was first of all, stick shift.
Right.
Scared everybody away.
Right.
And second, what am I going to do with a utility truck? For me, it was perfect because it was my work vehicle at the time. I was like, I needed something good on gas. And, well, I say that, but this is back when I had my Camaro Z28, and I wanted a Trailblazer SS to drive around and tow it with and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care about the gas miles, but as soon as it got to $3 a gallon, then I had to start caring. And yeah, I bought my panel at a Dodge dealership. And they have the Caliber SRT4s there. They have the neons.
I like it.
They had a couple neons there, and I saw the panel. I was like, why does this thing got rim? I didn't do any research.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was going there to buy a vehicle for work. I didn't care what it was. And I'm like, it's got... Because the ad said HHRSS panel, I thought it was a typo. I was like, oh, they spelled LS wrong.
And this was in 2013?
2013.
4 years after it came out.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about it. No research, no nothing.
I don't think a lot
What
of
fuel
people
are you
did.
running there?
It had a stage 1 kit on it, so it had premium already marked on there, so I always... All my vehicles already did premium. I used to... My car's still a 93 right now.
Okay.
But before I went to Big Turbo, I did a 50-50 mix. So you do a 50-50 93 with
E43 or
E47.
Yeah.
You cut it down to E47, and it was amazing. It's cheap, it's great.
Right. See, I'm just on the 85.
Yeah. Of course, the
the
back
red
then,
car was on the 85.
you have to remember, when I bought this car, there was nothing. Like, I don't think ZZB had even a fuel pump or at that time. All I had was Han Racing. I think there was some off-brand companies that made stuff. There's a company called, I think CIA makes an intake.
Yes. Because they made one for the base model as
they
well.
had that thing, that big shield on top of the engine, right into it's supposed to be their ram air intake. I was thinking about buying that, but I didn't. God, I can't imagine what it was.
What do you think of my Ram Air fender?
That's nice, huh?
That's nice, man.
When you go 100 miles an hour, say that thing go.
It's all sheet metal.
Yeah, no, but I love your setup.
It won't go nowhere.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll make my own.
Somebody did ask me about it, and I said I wish it was as easy as just slitting it and pushing it down, but the headlight is so close to the fender.
See, yeah.
Like if you were to really get down and look, that fender is now
so close.
So I cut like imagine a road cone in half pretty much, and welded that triangle onto the fender to get that extra little bit of lift. Because otherwise the opening was like a quarter of an inch. And that's not worth the effort.
No, it's not.
And that's the kind of thing that, like I was telling you earlier before before we went to his house, it's like the kind of things that he'll do, just like that little bit of extra effort for, he'll go 10 feet to get a foot, and that.
So why the wood grain?
I was nervous about having it powder coated because of all the horror stories I had seen about the baffles melting and stuff like that.
Yeah, mine are probably melted. I've had mine powder coated twice.
Yeah. I mean, I've been told it's like as long as they're using a big oven, it's just like a normal size oven is 2 direct heat, I guess. but I wanted something. I mean, I had done like the VHT paint before on my orange car.
Never lasts.
Mine, I had no problems with it, to be honest with you. But
for me, I mean, it's all in the prep work and everything.
right.
But for me, it was never lasts.
But I just didn't want. I wanted something different. The majority of like the AHdidit stuff, I just really wasn't like my style, and
Looks good.
very loud.
Yeah.
And then I used to be a finished carpenter, so like I do enjoy wood grain, you know. So
Oh, nice.
And it was
Well, how
just-
you incorporated that?
like it's kind of retro to me, you know. A lot of people do like the wood trunks and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I'll take it the
Yeah.
next step, and it definitely has because to me, I think my car looks awesome, but still, people still think it's just an HHR, you know. But when they walk by and they see that, they stop every time, and then they'll actually embrace and look over the car.
Yeah.
So it does
The wood-
its
the wood
job
grain?
as pulling. It does pull people in for sure, and that was something
So I think that's a big difference of Midwest and East Coast, or I mean Florida in particular. Like we were talking earlier, your car season doesn't end. Like you don't have a build season.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin, we've got a legitimate. You can call it winter or you can call it a build season.
Yeah.
Anytime that anybody has their car go down for a long period of time in Florida, they figure like, what happened to you? Fell off the
Right.
face of the earth.
Right. So I think that's a big difference between, you know, like when I kind of bring it up sometimes when I go live here, you know, and I talk about it, like for you guys, like a vehicle that's going to show up to a Cars and Coffee in Florida or California or somewhere that's got like a big car scene. For me, from the outside looking in, I would expect all of those cars to be, excuse me, I would expect all of those cars to be pretty much top notch because of the location.
They're very
because
clean.
they don't have a down season.
No, they don't.
In the Midwest, I mean, you can come to the Cars and Coffee around here. Like there's, depending on where you go, it can be a 50-50 mix of super high-end cars and then just some jalopy-ass turds with a you know, a muffler. So I think around here, like at the Midwest, you know, in the Midwest, when it comes to like popping your hood,
A lot don't.
a lot of people don't. And I think if you pop your hood, especially at a Cars and Coffee, because it's a little bit different from a regular car show, you know, they've been accepted. Like you're supposed to pop your hood. You go to a Cars and Coffee that's casual, families, kids, strollers and whatnot. When you get people popping your hood at a Cars and Coffee in the Midwest, for me, I see that as like, okay, like you're inviting me over to see something that I might not see otherwise. You know, because here, you, like I said, you can see some junk out there. And I know for me, pulling into Cars and Coffee, the handful of times that I would go around here, showing up at an HHR, like it was, I got an absolute kick out of it every single time. Because you can see people smiling. You can see people starting to chuckle and give their buddy the nudge, like, look at this thing coming. Right? And as you get closer, you hear the turbo.
Yeah.
I pull up and I park. I air out. They see the brakes. You know, they see all of the things. And then as soon as I get out and I pop that hood and I open the hood, like for me, from the outside looking in, like I would laugh at me too pulling into a parking lot. You know, if I showed up in a Corvette and some dude showed up in a HHR on air ride, I'm gonna giggle. But if he pops his hood and I see what looks like a unicorn covered, just glistening from the sunlight, majestic thing coming from underneath his hood, which is what I did with that polished engine bay.
Mm-hmm.
When I would pop that thing at Cars and Coffee, it was a magnet. It was an absolute magnet. And at that point, it's like, once people saw that I was going to the effort of popping my hood and inviting people to come and critique what I had done, and they see all of that, like Joe said, you have a good engine bay in the Midwest, that's an invitation for people to circle your car, critique your car, give their opinion. You know, I maybe not give your opinion out loud, so be it, but you know, you're inviting people to come and look at what you've done, and popping your hood is an invitation as far as I'm concerned.
So yours is on driver's side?
My exit, yes, is on the driver's side.
So I should be on passenger side. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get lucky and just run the manifold upside down and just put it on the left side.
More power to you.
You know,
Having it on the driver's side is fun and all.
that's what I'm hoping.
When I shot a big flame one time and it came right in my window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Came in your window?
Yeah, it shot a flame. Okay, I was doing a pull. It's like one of my when I just got the car up and running. I had to do a pull for James. James is my tuner.
Okay.
Was doing a pull on the street. I missed third gear. I bounced. I hit the gate. Popped up. Popped back in. And between the RPMs going back in,
Fuel just dumped on
it dumped out. Ran back in. Ran back up. It popped so big it came into the window.
Send your beer.
It singed my eyebrow a little bit. But I do it again if I have a deal.
So, I have a question for you that you and I briefly talked about earlier today.
Sure.
When I got into the HHRs, I remember your car when it was black. That was right around the time when you first went blue. Was right around the time that I got into finding out that there was even an HHR community. I was still in my base model panel at the time.
Yeah, I remember the silver one.
Yeah. And I remember when you went blue and the look that your car had and the pictures that you were posting, it's like, dude, you're just fucking killing it. Just absolutely killing it. And I think it's pretty safe to say that when the pandemic started and the 1320 did that contest,
I still have that on my phone.
and you topped out that contest in the top 10?
Top five,
Top
right?
five.
Yeah.
It was top 5. I have
Top
it on my phone.
five.
I have it on my phone. I popped right
Dude.
I tell that story all the time.
And
Out
in
of, I can't remember. It was like
What's
millions.
going on there?
the GoPro is overheating.
GoPro 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Standard.
Yeah. We're looking to upgrade that here soon.
Thank you.
I remember seeing that and just thinking,
It blew my mind.
it was so crazy because here we are, like,
That was my sorry to interrupt,
No,
but that
please.
was one of my life goals to be on 1320.
and kudos to you.
Yeah.
Kudos to you because I
have a
mean,
1320 shirt right now.
yeah, dude. I mean, seeing that and like, again, I brought this up to you earlier, and just seeing like something like that, you doing something like that, and reaching that goal, and here's the rest of us in this community that are, to a certain extent, embarrassed to go to Cars and Coffee because we're getting laughed at,
Shouldn't
and
be.
now here's Rob up here getting top 5 in a contest that is. Like, the record showed there was a ridiculous amount of people voting.
Right.
Like, a ridiculous amount of people voting because it was the beginning of the pandemic. And the HHR capped it. And it was, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was excellent for the entire community. I thought you composed yourself very well with getting that title. You know, I think some people that could have, you know, could have taken it a different way, but I thought you composed yourself very well. And with that being said, when you were blue, and everybody knew your car, because that's something that people have said to me, I can assure you people have said it to Rob, they see my car and they're like, oh, do you know that guy Rob with the blue panel? Like, oh, I follow that guy on Instagram. It's like, yeah, I know Rob, like I've known Rob for a while now. When you went from the blue to the the chromatic psychedelic silver, that the metallic color, because that was, again, we talked about this earlier, that was right after you did the Big Apple media shoot, which after the 1320 thing, you come out with the Big Apple media shoot and those rollers and the video, and I told you earlier, I'm not blowing smoke, the videos, the audio, everything, the way you put it out there.
I know I messaged him and was like, oh, if there's the longer of this clip, I want it.
Oh,
I was like, however
it was
much
so
footage you got, I want
good.
it.
It was so good, and I felt like because of what you had already achieved with 1320, and the fact that you now put this out, that was just like that. I felt like there was an audience of people out there that wanted more, and you gave them more. Like I thought it was cool. Like I didn't. Like this was our first time meeting face to face. Like, we
Yeah.
hadn't spoken over the phone, but, you know, we'd been friends on Facebook and social media. And for me, I was like, man, that's fucking cool. Like, I fucking know this dude. Like, I know this dude. And he's getting, like, well-due recognition. And I was genuinely happy for you. My question, when you went from the blue to the silver, dude, how scared were you? Like, what, I mean, were you excited? Were you nervous? Like, what were you feeling? Because...
Or what brought it about?
All of it. All of that.
When I did the Big Apple shoot, at that time, the wrap has been on the car for 7 years. And wrap in Florida does not last more than 5 years.
Was it an outdoor car?
No.
Okay.
No, I made sure that the HHR, well, in its daily driven life, it was an outdoor car. But until I got my first condo and then my house, I had always had a garage. I mean, I always had to have a place with a garage.
Okay.
So it stayed garage kept for...
Tyler Gordon says that
40.
blue video is the reason he got an HHI.
Thanks, man. You know, it's the funny part is, when I did that video, that was the end of the blue car. That was...
And that's what you said to me earlier.
No.
That's why I said to you, I want to leave this
No.
conversation for now.
No, that was what I do is when I reach a certain stage in a build, I gotta get videos, I gotta get photo shoot, I gotta get all knocked out before I start changing things. I can't. Something about me, I just can't leave things alone, and I have to keep constantly changing.
Sickness.
Stuff. Yeah, I know.
See, I am terrible with taking any photos. I'm like a person, like, if we were in your garage, you cannot mention, like, oh, I'm kind of thinking about doing this, because I'm like, I bet we can get it done in the next 35 minutes. You know, it's like, let's do it. And
Just get done.
you know, as soon as I get an idea in my head, I have no problems
Jump
coming
right
out
on.
with it. You know, it's like, I can't, there's so much stuff that I've missed because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just too far ahead of myself.
Well, with you know, a lot of stuff on my car, on my build, was stuff that I was told you couldn't do. Like, someone told me you can't relocate the fuse box and put a bigger turbo, which can't be done. I was like, alright, I said bet, and let's go. I took a year off to relocate the fuse box of the bumper.
And I remember you posting pictures of just like a...
I would
It was
literally
like
go
a
to work.
Disney video of wiring at your
Spaghetti
feet.
all over the place.
Now, did you use, like, same color wire to...
Yeah, I actually went to a website and I actually found the type, the gauge. I took my strippers and measured the gauge, make sure there was the proper gauge. Only the longest strand I had was like about 1.5 feet, because I wanted to keep everything. Like, I'm just moving everything into the bumper,
Right.
so we're not losing voltage. I'm not going to be able to, like, going down the road and cars going to die on me. I plan for everything. I plan for it. Like, if there was a voltage drop for communication with the CAN bus system and everything, I made sure there was minimum voltage drop. So it was one of the craziest projects I've ever taken on. But I did it blind. I said I'll just go for it. And then I think I had like 2 fabricators turn me away because they're like, no, dude, it's gonna be too expensive to do it. And I found a guy to do it. And that was
The Sidewinder kit?
Yep. I found a guy who built it. It took him like 4 months. He built it. And then I had to finish the exhaust portion.
I mean, finding somebody that can see your vision and...
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass because I wanted a twin scroll, you know, T3 with a V-band exit, and I wanted to exit it either out of the hood or the fender. At that portion, I didn't have anything because all I had at the time, he just gave me a little temporary pipe because he couldn't finish the entire thing because he went out of business. But yeah, it was. I had to get my other buddy to finish it. At least he finished the exhaust portion. That's how he got the teardrop in the fender, and then the teardrop in the thing. Where if you open the hood, it looks like a heart.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
That was
too.
that was a detail that just it was a happy accident.
I've been telling him for his, he should be doing his light bulb logo.
He should. He did bang it.
You know, he could do the
Yeah.
ring, and then he could even do the filament across the,
Do that in the hood.
you know.
Exhaust port right there.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that would be...
Hey man. If I was here a whole week, I'd give you a bunch of ideas.
And that is something that Joe and I have talked about too. I mean, the amount of time that him and I have spent on the car, the amount of time that I've spent out here by myself. Like actually to the point when the car has been under the knife, you know, not just turning wrenches, but actually cutting and welding. I mean, it's probably about, I think we said it was like about 60 hours of work. And in that 60 hours, every time I came out here, I was taking tools back out. Because like I try not to leave all the shit out. Like I try and clean up and put shit away, but
You hate to see the work, man.
I mean, I'm not as tidy with everything in my life as I am organized with the car.
Yeah.
But again, as you guys have seen here with your own eyes, I mean, as you've seen this entire process, like it is a lot of work. And I told you earlier, like I go out of my way to not get stressed out about the car. I mean, I haven't welded on the car since like I think maybe 2 weeks ago. I threw some welds on the roof, but you know, I've been busy in between there, you know, and I no longer have a deadline for the car. Mm-hmm. So I figure as long as
Tuesday or Wednesday?
It'll be Tuesday. It'll be done.
Tuesday.
It'll be done on.
Sure
It'll be done on a Tuesday.
Right, for the video on Wednesday.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
the
video on Wednesday.
For the video on Wednesday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got it down.
And you know, I just kind of stick with it and stay true to the plan. And I mean, honestly, like the simple fact that like I have the two of you here right now talking, like easily the most famous HHR out there. Mm-hmm. Your car, what you've done with your car is, I mean, beyond unbelievable. I think what I did with the red car was pretty fucking cool, but the fact that my name is even in conversations with a car that has no motor in it, no interior, nothing. Like this is closer to the beginning than it is to the end.
Yeah.
You know? It's the end is so far away. But the fact that it's even brought up in conversation, that people even talk about it or have talked about things that I've done, like it's awesome. I love it. I don't get excited about finishing the car to the point that it gives me anxiety, but the thought of this car being done and like the three of us meeting up somewhere, Tail of the Dragon, my place, somewhere, and a photo of our cars, our group of buddies, like our guys, like with a bunch of finished vehicles, man, like it's shit that I dreamt about for you know my entire life as a little kid and everything, and I'm doing this shit now, and I love it.
If it wasn't for rap, I wouldn't have had the kahunas to take all the stuff that I did to the car, for sure. You know, like the rap for sure opened up doors for me that I was, or just like I said, the balls to be able to feel like I could.
Sometimes you just gotta jump right in.
Yep.
Just get your feet wet.
And what I'm noticing, especially like, because I do think we're almost a team at this point, whereas I feel that between the both of us, we don't really get stumped very often, and that gives me more confidence too, you know? And we definitely work similar, and our minds are the same, you know, as far as how those work, so it's...
See, it's nice. You guys, you can feed off each other.
It's very...
Fortunately for me, I don't know about
I mean, and I consider myself extremely lucky that, you know, I make it very, very out there. Like, I appreciate Joe's friendship. I appreciate the help that he provides me on the car, you know. I told you earlier, when he's out here Wednesdays, that when he shows up, like, when he's here on Wednesdays, he's not necessarily here to do 50% of the work. He shows up because I'm going to be out here working. He knows there will be something that he can do, but if nothing else, like, he's just going to be here to, like, no, dude, now jump over to that, like,
Yeah,
otherwise, this is like ADD.
Yeah,
you know, I can
to
skip
keep
from
you
one project to another, and Joe's just like,
I said, I
Dylan, sunroof. It's gonna do this.
Yeah,
Gonna do that.
yeah, when there's something to be done, I'm like, I gotta do it.
So he
I can't
gives you
sit still.
focus. So you don't
I
have to
mean,
keep bouncing around.
when we got this corner done
Alright, what's next?
on the car, That's what it was like.
You said something to me.
Bang that shit out, and
you
it
were
was
like, "I'm gonna
such a
get
good
this
night."
done," and I looked at you and I was like, "We're gonna get this whole side of the bumper done."
And I literally said it on camera. It's on live. I looked at the camera and I said, "Joe thinks we're going to get this entire corner done," and I kind of gave like a sideways look.
Yeah,
like 2.5 hours later, we were done.
Like the man goes, "You sure about that?"
Yeah. All right. So tonight we're trying to get a little bit more done on this corner. Joe says that we're going to have this corner done tonight.
Yes.
Joe's pretty optimistic. You're a good friend. I bounce ideas off of you well, and I mean, when it came time for me to tear apart the red car, like I was sitting on a lot of custom parts, and it was a lot of custom parts that I had no intention of using again, that I knew a lot of people wanted had I put them up for sale.
Yeah.
And I would have dealt with tire kickers. I would have dealt with, people ragging on me about shipping or coming out and picking it up. And it's like, here's Joe, he's building a car.
Oh yeah, I reaped a lot of benefits from using the panel.
You sure did.
Yeah.
I've seen the benefits.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and I'm always the one too, like, we're at this point, it's pretty amazing, like, because, we've been friends now for, 5 years or something like that. And at first, like, we did deals, and it was, but now we don't talk, there's no money conversations, it's, we're going to do this or I'm going to do that, and no, you just take it, you'll get me on the next time. There is so much, like, camaraderie and brotherliness between us, it's really neat, it's more so than my own real actual brother,
It's something that I do appreciate, it goes a long way. Having a buddy in the garage, you don't even have to talk to. We don't even have to have conversation out here. We're getting shit done. We're on the same wavelength. Like I told you, like this is my sanctuary. I come out here and I could solve the world's problem out here by myself and come up with a solution that I would think is good enough for everybody.
Yeah.
And I can also narrow that down to just my life, and it happens a lot out here. And there's definitely some nights where Joe's out here and it's just like, like this whole corner, like we just got it done. And like we took a step back and was like, dude, that just like fell together. Like it just fell together. And not only did we do all of this side, but we duplicated every single piece that we made.
Yep. So
we can do the other side.
Yeah, that's
in less the time. Yeah, that side's already cut and done. It's just we gotta cut all of that out to get to that side, which has been the one thing I've been procrastinating on this car the most. But a lot of welding to do. A lot of welding, a lot of grinding. A lot of grinding. Shout out to Benchmark Abrasives for all those flat discs I got the other day.
Definitely gonna need a box.
Yeah.
But I've done together. I can start seeing it.
I feel like if you were to take this right now to somewhere and put a sign and said, first time, there would be a lot of...
Oh yeah, you're going to blow people away by saying, this is the first time doing my body kit, and they're like, what?
Right. I think it's very impressive, Like I said, I have told you before, it's like, I am not, like all my bodywork stuff was all first time stuff too, It's
you gotta learn somehow.
It's like, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I look at that and say, like, that's why I asked you in person, is it better or worse? Because, like, on camera, some things can go hidden.
Some things on camera do not look. Like I said, like with your wrap.
Right.
The camera cannot pick up that flake and it doesn't pop.
Right. It looks like white noise. In person,
it just look white.
But like this, when I look at this, it's like, that's straight. It's all metal. You're not going to have to cake shit up to,
the doors are warped as shit, but...
The two doors, but again, that can
be... but that's something that you dollied,
Yeah. As of right now, that's all.
Just means more work.
Yeah. And that's every time we get close to finishing something, we got the roof, all right? And we were waiting for 500 people, 500 subscribers to do a job that took us 2.5 hours. We'd spent months thinking about it, made a paper pattern, had the lines drawn on the roof well ahead of time.
Painted on it.
And when the time came, it was like we just got it done. Like next thing you know, we had glass bolted into the roof by the end of the night. It's like,
I can't wait to see that thing run.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that I can't believe we did it because I knew that we would do it. I just can't believe that it was this easy. Yeah, Rob was out here earlier with all of his electrical wizardry. He was messing around with the panel there.
No dice. What do you think? Motor toast?
No.
He says that the jump box won't do it.
Okay, there is a control wire. There's a couple grounds you gotta hook up.
You're the best.
The thing is, you have the control module sitting right there.
Right.
Look up the schematic, and if it's got 2 grounds and a communication wire, I think if you can find a way to lower it down to like 5 volts until there's a signal there, it will.
Well, because the other guy did it like straight from the battery. You know, in the video, he was walking us through. He was telling us, "Here, I'm touching this wire and this wire," and he was able to make them move.
Check your ground.
You know.
Wait, is there battery in the car?
No.
Were you trying to with the jump box?
Yeah.
You need the ground hooked up to the car.
I just want to see the double.
I think it's because you have that jump box there, and I think that you don't have the ground in the car. I don't know. I mean, we could mess with it later.
Interesting. Yeah,
Only thing is, if I had more time, if this wasn't a day thing, I mean, wasn't 2 hours away,
man,
I would have a field day with this thing.
So Rob was actually in town with his wife. They flew into Chicago the other day.
It was very nice as well.
Yes, we had dinner with them tonight. It was great. Flew into Chicago, and then day one came and visited some friends up in Wisconsin. So they were like 2 hours north of where I'm at here. So booked it out a couple weeks ago. We've had this booked for a while.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, I was like, hey, guess what? I'm gonna be in your area, and
I'm glad you were able to swing by too.
No, I was very glad I came by.
Yeah, there were.
This is something I wanted to do for a very long time. This is probably the only time we'll probably be able to do something like this.
And like I said, I really appreciate you putting forth the effort to get out here to see the car, to sit down and just talk. I mean, I love it, dude. This is, for me, this is enough motivation. This is stockpile of motivation.
Oh yeah.
I'm
going to take some of this home with me.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully not physically, but yeah.
Well, I mean, spoiler around here or something?
Yeah, I'm sure if you need something, he's got it here.
I imagine so. I seen the stockpile.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look at the rear end?
Yeah.
To see how it was all together there? Yeah.
Can't wait to see when you start that project.
No, I mean, it's already back on the car.
What?
How the rear bags are set up.
Oh, with the hub plates and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta show me after.
Yeah.
Man, that was...
Sounded like it was a lot of fun.
It was. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot that too was one of those things where I was
I can see the sweat dripping down.
Dude, I was procrastinating on that for so long.
No.
It got to a point where I just simply needed to
jump in and do it.
I needed to get it finished because I had to get things tested on the car to, get my fitment figured out. I needed to get the I-beam done. And all said and done, I was like, man,
why did it take so long?
this is fucking cool as shit. This is cool, man. Yeah, that was...
So those are the templates you got from Lunchbean?
Yep.
You want to talk about panel build?
God, I mean, you want to talk about a talented dude.
That man is talented.
Talking about Mike Martin, aka Lunchy B on Instagram and social medias. Right now he's doing a Hemi swapped
Liberty.
Jeep
Renegade.
Jeep Renegade with a wide body.
It's a monster.
It's just, it's everything. It's bagged. It's everything.
Disgusting.
But he is also a member of the HHR community, and
Yeah, he's got green panel. I don't know if it's still green though.
he had the
glass,
silver
rear
one
glass
too.
is gone on that
Yeah.
too, right?
See,
Yeah, I think he just
Dipped over.
dipped over.
Okay.
So I don't think he has the green one anymore. That's the one that because he had that one bagged and tubbed
Like
for
me and
24.
him were like,
Yeah,
we were the only guys on the block at that time.
yeah. And that too, I remember when I first got onto Instagram, you, Shane, Mike Martin were all some of the first HHR people, because that was why I got onto like the car side of Instagram. Otherwise, it was like all of my art. But yeah, finding you guys on there was just like, holy shit! Like there is other people out here doing stuff with HHRs. Because I think I told you too earlier, like Burnaby was the first guy that I actually met in the HHR community when I got in touch with. You remember CJ?
Yeah. I remember CJ. I can't forget.
Yeah, right. So he's like the original SS part out guy that I got in contact with, and he had a set of SS seats, and I forget what state he was in, but he met me halfway, and it was like a 6-hour drive for both of us, and I was going down there to get an SS interior, and Burnaby had a couple SS seats that he wanted to swap that CJ had as well. So on my way down there, I stopped at Burns, met him, and saw Kevin's car, who it was Sam Huck's car when it had like the desert sand wrap on it or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the first big turbo HHR, first custom built HHR that I had seen outside of my black headlight LED taillight head car.
Good old days.
Yeah, no, seriously, that was like eye-opening. Like, wow, there's actually. I think he had like the louvered vents in the fenders, or in the hood rather.
Yes, he did.
And just thinking, like, man, that's so odd. Like, what an odd thing to do, but hot damn, does that look cool?
I tried selling my TVS Redline for that car.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, because that car went up for sale a bunch of times, and it was passed around like a hot potato for a couple years, and then Kevin got a hold of it. But round full circle. Went to Burns, met him, saw the car that was Sam's, that is now Kevin's. Went, drove out, met CJ, got the silver and black SS interior that I come to find out those seats were the seats from your car.
Yeah, no, those seats got passed around.
You have the brakes that were used to be on my car.
Right. Yeah, so, yeah, and that was the thing, when I got my SS and immediately dove into modifying it, like there were people that I was following, and when parts came up for sale, like I didn't skip a beat. I snatched stuff up and paid people their asking price, and it was a little ridiculous. I went kind of balls to the wall with that car right out of the gate, but
man, that's the only thing when starting out in this community. The worst is everything had to be tailor-made. Everything. It was not. I mean, you could have bought bolt-on stuff from ZZ1. At the time, ZZP was just now getting into the LNF stuff, because they were more focused on the 3800 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a little stuff for the LSJ. I mean, they only had pulleys at that time, but yeah. To find mods for this car back when I first started out was a nightmare, complete nightmare. I was like, damn, I gotta get everything custom made. I had a downpipe with a cutout made for this car. I mean, it was just a pain in the ass, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, I didn't deal with any of that. Because when I met you, you were already balls deep into your Ion, and all the other guys in our group, like they had built cars, and here I am with this stock HHR. I just simply bought performance parts that people were like, yeah, you should probably get that for your car, you should put that on. The parts that I wanted, nobody was making the cosmetic parts that I wanted to build. Like nobody was making a different spoiler. Nobody was making, a wild hood. So, and then I found that people were putting the SS scoop in there and made a spoiler, broke it. Yeah, finding yourself in a niche community like this,
Yeah.
it can
be tasking.
Yeah, tasking. That's exactly what I was just going to say. Tasking.
Very tasking. But it's worth it at the end of the day because no one's gonna have that.
Yeah, and showing up in a unique vehicle that
It blows people's minds.
Yeah.
Every time I show up, you see the big intercooler and then there's Jaws just drop. Like, what is in that thing?
My brother-in-law got to experience that at the Cars and Coffee there last time.
You're like, what?
Whenever we got done, we went to his parents' house, and just hearing him talk, he was like, to his dad, he's like, dude, it was so cool. Like, as soon as we pull in, he was like,
Everyone
was checking the car
stops,
out. He was like,
breaks
I've
their
never
neck.
seen, he was like, it was like, I've never seen somebody get so much attention.
Yeah, because I don't know how it is for you guys up here, but we are flooded with Camaros, Mustangs,
Yes.
Challengers, Chargers,
Subarus.
Subaru is kind of rare down there. There's a couple, but it's. we hardly see.
You're gonna get
Dude,
Chargers.
you throw a rock, you're going to hit a Subaru.
Yeah, it makes sense for up here.
Yeah, 370Zs,
And
anything with those.
BRZ.
And every car in Florida is like either 1,000 horsepower, 800 horsepower. It's like monsters coming into the car. There was like twin turbo trailblazers coming to the car show. Like I said, you come down to Florida, I'll take you to Cars and Coffee, I'll blow your mind with all the cars that are out.
Yeah, I believe it. That's what I was saying earlier. Like the having the build season, the off season in the Midwest.
Yeah, you guys, it's nice for you guys. You guys get downtime, you can actually focus.
But at the same time, the weather's shit. So we're out here. If we have to work on the car for that downtime, it's not enjoyable. Like, shit acts different.
This was my first winter working in my garage with heat that wasn't propane.
Do you want to trade?
Dude, 3 winters.
I work in the freezing cold.
You say that. You say that now. You say that now. Let me tell you, this concrete gets so cold.
It's like a freezer in here.
It's so dude. Prior to
your
this
muscles
winter,
are tight because you're just flexing everything.
You go inside to go to sleep at night, and you just pass out. As soon as you get warm, you're just done. Because, dude, it was bone chilling. My feet were because it was so cold from the ground coming up.
I'll tell you what, you need to come to Florida this summer, and you tell me.
No thanks.
Yeah,
don't take this as me complaining.
Well, you can close
I
the
know
garage.
it sounds
We will
like
have you work in the garage and everything, and I'll tell you how fun that is.
Oh, no,
and see if you want to trade.
No, thank you. This right now, this is hot. It's hot here. It's muggy.
This is mild.
Yeah, this is your weather.
This is our winter.
It's hot.
See, I'd rather vacation cold if I had to see it. It's like, if I want to see snow, I'll just go on vacation to see snow.
Yeah. I've only seen snow once.
I don't know if it's even in our own defense, but it snowed like 3 times here this past winter. It was a very mild winter. I had to use the snow blower like twice.
So, do you know the story of how I got the car?
No, what's up?
So, it went from Shane to Brett Job.
Yeah.
From Brett Job to Cameron Bennett? Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
From Texas. He listed the car. I had the orange auto car at the time, if you ever saw that one.
Vaguely.
He listed it and was like, dude, I'll sell my car, and if I can sell it, I'll come buy it. Ended up getting a buyer for my car.
Pretty quick.
And he had removed the post. And I'm like, I messaged him and I was like, dude, I will not haggle. I will give you.
I'll come right down there right now.
I'll give you your asking price. I was like, but again, I'm a worry bee, so it's like, I don't want to drive it home from Texas.
I don't blame you.
He was
a
like,
long trip.
I was like, so here's what I'll offer. I will pay for your plane ticket. If you drive it halfway, I will meet you halfway. I'll fly there. We'll do an exchange. You fly home. I'll drive the car home. So he drove from San Antonio, Texas to Kansas City, Missouri. I met him at the airport. He was like running late.
I can imagine.
So I legitimately, I already knew where his terminal was. So I have like the video and everything. I walked up to the car. He got out. Didn't even have really time to like greet each other, He's getting his stuff out of the back. I didn't even do a walk around of the car. Like, had no idea. It was just like, here you go. Your terminal's right in there to your left. Like, see ya, dude. I get in, 0 gas until the 85. I'm like, oh my, this is gonna be fun. You know, but he did have a 5-gallon thing of it in the car, so it's like, at least I got that. You know,
yeah, at least you got the 5 gallons to get out of there.
Got right by the airport. I fueled it up, started driving home, and was nervous as all hell. It's like I got an 8-hour drive home, and a car has to prove itself to me before I will drive it at any distance like that. It has me and him are on day one. You know, like I was
you and me, bud.
We're doing this. I was doing this. All get out. I don't think I even tried to hit boost until I was like within an hour home.
Oh, you were afraid. As soon as it hit boost, it would dump out.
You know, something would happen.
Yeah.
And right when I, like I said, get within reason, like I could tow it. Worst case scenario.
I'll blow the bottom out of it, and right here I'll be fine.
It's wet. Math's wet. Car's like, I'm like, oh no. This is not good. Not good.
And the nightmare
begins.
begins.
You know, like I should have, because I was on the fence. It was like I was about to try to big turbo the orange car, or take the extra money that I had and buy this car. And it finally cleared up. The car cleared up. I hit boost and was like, okay, this is cool. The first time the gate opened though. I'm shifted. Like, nope, what was that? You know, that was a lot. You know, like
quick shift.
Like that was some noise, and I was always like,
I asked you the first time riding your car, like, dude, what the hell is that sound? You're like, dude, that's the sound of a big turbo.
And I know, like the first time, once I because it was so fresh to me, and then right away I blew out the turbo to manifold gasket. So I was like, if I'm gonna pull this turbo, I'm gonna put in the one I want to put in. So I ended up doing a deal with another guy from Texas. There was somebody selling a full turbo kit. They didn't want to part it out. He wanted everything but the turbo. I only wanted the turbo. Me and him made a deal. I was like, I will go pick it up. I'll purchase everything and I'll ship you the turbo kit. And then I offered him my turbo, the 6262. He was friends with Cameron. So he was like, yeah, let's make a deal. So I ended up, in a sense, I feel like I got paid maybe a couple $100 to get the turbo that I wanted on there. Put the S252 on it, and then that was really the first time I actually was giving the car hell. And the first time staying in boost, like the whole RPM to redline, I wasn't sure because the hood dump's right in the middle of the hood. It's like, this thing's fucking fast. I wasn't sure, am I getting tunnel vision? And then I realized, that's the heat from the turbo.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's fast enough that I'm feeling like I might be getting a little bit of vision here, you know?
Well, and the small window doesn't help.
Right.
It does turn it into a tunnel.
window.
And every time I give somebody a ride, they're like, hold on, I gotta get a video of this. So every video I have is from other people that their ride, and they're like, oh, I gotta get a video. Ready? Yeah.
You're the absolute worst when it comes to documenting anything you do.
Terrible.
I'm pretty bad too.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true. What you do with TikTok is great.
The TikTok videos, the edits, I can bang those out in a couple minutes.
I get flustered with it.
Well, I mean, we got time. Again, I don't have enough time. I would walk you through whole tutorial. I can set you up.
I have 300 subscribers on TikTok.
Bro, send me some videos. I'll make you some bangers.
It's crazy.
I love doing it.
But I also don't do anything with the car for the last year except to sit in the garage.
I didn't. I still make videos.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Taking it out in the sunlight.
Yeah. I mean, take it out of the garage. Just let it sit out there, take a couple pictures, send them to me, and I'll make you a good banger.
Yep. I cannot.
I am willing to help.
Whatsoever.
I mean, I'm helping with Burns' car. I mean, I can help you.
Yeah. I'll send you my motor next.
Let's talk about that. So you are building Burnaby's car. that has been. So let this be known that when we went to dinner tonight, Burnaby was with us. Burnaby came up here and met us for dinner and hung out for a little bit. But Burnaby's car went from shop to shop. His car, he's got very specific goals that he has in mind for his car. He's had parts built. He's gone through turbos. He's bought brand new parts, sold them, bought other brand new parts, sold them, bought other brand new parts. I know because I've bought some of them from him.
It's an ongoing
ongoing process. So when you and I talked about this earlier, and you said that it was basically a joke that you said for him to send you the car, and he took you up on that. When you accepted that, what was your? Did you have any concerns about that? Were you afraid of that he might have? I mean, from the outside looking in, I would see Burnaby as having very high expectations and wanting things done a very specific way, which I can very much appreciate. Is that pressure on you? Like, what do you think about it?
Oh no, I mean, I keep him constantly updated. When I got his car, it was...
The bar wasn't set very high. It didn't seem like.
No, when I got his car was, I mean, you can tell it sat for a long time.
Yeah.
And, okay, let's start at the beginning. I was just joking with him in the group text. I was like, you know what, Bern? I'm tired of seeing the car not finished, like you're moving on to another shop because this one doesn't have time to do the build, or whatever the reasons were. I mean, that was what it is.
It is what it is.
So I was like, dude, instead of sending to another shop and taking another chance for it sitting in the back of a shop and collecting dust, I flat out told him, I was like, send it my way. I mean, I got my car. At that point, I wasn't messing around. I was like at a stopping point, kind of, which is false. There's no such thing as a stopping point when it comes to owning a car. Yeah, we were just joking around.
Caught up with your current ideas.
Yeah,
that's a good way.
Well, yeah, that's a good way of saying it. I like that. I would make a stick
Caught
out
up
of
with
that.
your current idea.
Yeah. I was joking around and said, hey, just send it to me, man. I'm tired of hearing it's going to be done. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's get moving. So he's like, okay, bet. He called me on my bluff, and then, joking aside, but yeah, he literally a week or two showed up to my doorstep, and I was like, wow, it's happening.
Right, it's here.
So I was like, okay, well, let's do this. I gotta go get some tools. And I mean, the guy who dropped the car off, I mean, the car was sitting like this because there's no engine in the front. I had to push the thing up my driveway with the motor trans in the back. It took me at least a week to pull all the parts that were stuff in the car, clean the car out because it was pretty dirty because it sat for a while. So I started building it. I put the bottom end together. I took it in machine shop to make sure everything's good. Didn't want to take any chances. I don't want to put a motor in the car and all of a sudden there's no oil pressure, there's knocking. I just wanted to make sure it was 100% from the get-go. I know what's in there. It's balanced, rotated, the whole nine. The bearing clearances were on par. So I got back in the machine shop, I built the top end, I put the timing all together, timed it 5 or 4 times because for some reason it wasn't clicking. Because I was like, oh yeah, if I could just, crank it over, I could double check my time works. But apparently with the variable valve timing, you can't do that. You're supposed to set it and forget it, basically. Because it takes like
it's
100
rotations for it to get back where it was. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I had to retime it 3 times to peace of mind, make sure it was perfect. But no, it's going to be a beast when it's done. Like the stuff he's got in there, it's going to rival my car.
So, and I know I reached out to you when it was kind of announced that you took possession of his car to finish the build and get it done for him. I know I reached out to you and said to you, like, that I thought it was very cool that you were doing that for as long as I had known Bern being in the scene, it was a lot of him talking and showing pictures of it going from one shop to another. It was a lot of other people not getting the car done for him because as we know, he works. He works a lot. He's not able to do what he wants to do on his own.
He can't, he's got so much going on. It's impossible for him to.
And I give him credit for continuing to want to get something done with the car.
I give Vern a lot of credit for not giving up.
Right,
for not giving up.
A lot of people would have given up and
sold the car.
Sold the car.
Yeah,
parted out. Just
motivation.
Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks about when you have to have somebody else do what your vision is. It's hard because you always get lost in translation because they want to do it a certain way because they know what they're doing and all that. No, I was just tired of seeing a good friend getting passed around and
struggle.
And I was afraid. I think he said to me, he's like, if I don't get this car done, it's done. I'm over it. And he's just like, it's a long time for a car to be down. Of course, I know people who've had their cars down for like 10 years, 12 years, trying to get their stuff done.
Hopefully she's not.
That's what I do not want to have happen either.
Right. And that's why I give him credit for shipping the car off to you. I give you credit for you're doing something for him that Joe would do for me or I would do for Joe. And you're way the hell down there.
Yeah.
And
working on 2 cars by yourself.
Working on 2 cars by yourself. You just moved into your house. You had that beautiful ass driveway that's like
everyone talks about that.
My God, that driveway is beautiful. Yeah. And you got your wife who's out there actually letting you potentially stain that driveway with like motor oil. Of course, you're a lucky guy. I mean, I thought it was very admirable of you to take on the project because what I knew of you like things a certain way. You're very particular. Burnaby likes things a very certain way. He's very particular.
Well,
he's not able to do it.
Yeah.
When you took that on, I was like, holy shit, like I can see the light at the end of Burns Tunnel now that you have the car. And I thought that was really cool that you took that on and trying to help him out.
Right now, the car's because we're waiting on a fabricator because I just don't have the energy or time to do the fabrication.
I mean, it's a realistic stance.
Well, we're trying to, the certain way we want to do his turbo is just going to have to take some brain power and just the bandwidth to figure it out. I have to sit down with somebody and just bounce it off of them and figure it out. But no, that's where we're at right now. I put motors in the car. I redid the AC. AC is 100% brand new. That was fun. Doing that. And getting everything together on the car. I could just see it come together and just.
I mean, what the pictures that you posted of the build that you were doing, everybody could see that.
It was just coming together. It was just like, now the transmission's in the car, the twin disc. I mean, this car has all the dream items I want.
Yeah. I liked seeing him being posted and the pictures you were posting because, I mean, for me, like, I see that as, not that other people are out there doing shit work. It's a small community. Mm-hmm. The HHR community is a small community. Not everybody out there is putting in the effort that I feel like I put into my own car, that Joe puts into his car, that you clearly have put into yours, that Eli has put into his car, that Matthew put into his car, and the details that he did. Jason. All of these guys that have done things, that have done really cool things that, you know, there's not a big community out there. So to see there not be, like, you know, it not being a Game of Thrones type thing, you know, and just like the helping out and you know, the lending of favors and reaching out type stuff.
I mean, pretty much small castle if we did Game of Thrones thing.
Right, it would be a very small castle.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm thinking of Borat right now. I'm the king of the castle. I'm the king of the castle. I got the chair. I got the chair.
I have a chair. I have a chair.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. So I have a question for you. In your opinion,
just kidding.
What are like the top 3 builds that you've seen in the HHR community? No Cobalt Just the HHRs.
Oh, jeez. It's hard. You put me on the spot there. I don't like big.
I mean, I firmly believe your car is going to be in that list.
Okay.
So that narrows you down to 2.
No. I don't include myself when I pick other like
Okay.
I don't
All right,
I don't
well,
like to.
Okay.
I know, but one of the biggest influence I had when first starting out was Phil. You know, Mac Dr. Phil with his orange HHR. I met him in Virginia.
Dragon Wagon, right?
Yeah, that thing's fun. That thing's so fun. He's got a full roller cage. Me and my buddy rode with him. My buddy had to ride in the back of the roller cage. I have
Seeing the roll
videos.
cage in that
Yeah,
car
he was
is what
like-
inspired me to do
Well,
harness bars.
Yeah, no, his roll cage was amazing. He did phenomenal work on that car. It's a shame that he's more focused on his top fuel dragsters right now. I mean, his S10 is amazing.
Yeah, I've seen the work.
It's
he did with
disgusting.
that.
It's so badass. I would love to ride it. I'm coming. I'm coming, Phil. The Turbo Kid was like he was the first one to do a Sidewinder on his car. So he did I think he did the passenger side. I did the driver's side. So he was like, he had the passenger side done, but he didn't do it like a twin scroll, because I wanted everything. I wanted top of the line. I wanted to make sure I didn't lose any power. And he had his from the manifold tubed up, and the turbo was sitting right there in that little area where the windshield washer fluid would be. That's where his turbo would sit. It would pop out the hood, and he took me around for it. I was sold. I had to do that. That was that was the mod that had to be end all be all.
So you've been in that car?
Yeah,
Where at?
in Virginia. That thing ripped. I loved it. It was so loud.
We should have taken the car.
Yeah, you should.
We should.
You should have. I needed it.
Yeah, I know the first time I saw the pictures of his car blowing the fireball out of the hood. That's
Yeah,
like-
with the slicks on. It
like,
was.
it's like the picture of his car. When I first saw that picture, I was like, "There's no way this is real."
And it's
like, there's no way
Did
this
you ever
is coming
see
from an
his,
HHR.
Did you ever see his white hexagon camo
Yes.
he had?
Yep.
Oh, I love that setup.
I think I've seen pictures of that, but didn't know that
It was
the
long.
same car.
Me neither.
That was
I
a
didn't know
long.
that was the same car.
That was the same.
Like
car.
multicolor shapes, but a white car.
No, it was white with like hexagon camo.
Right.
I have like.
Yeah,
I have this.
hexagon. What color?
It was white with like
Shades.
I think, like different shades, different color shades. Almost like it wasn't digital camo. It was more like hexagon with like kind of digital camo. But it was. I love that. I love that car.
We could have fed that to my father.
Right.
That was the first HHR person I met outside of Florida.
Awesome.
You said 3, right?
Yeah.
So, actually, a little sidetrack. Shane. I saw Shane in Florida when he went down to get the CTSV. I saw him, like I was going down south, he was going back north because he picked up the car and drove back. I saw him on Turnpike heading back all the way here. I was like, wait a minute, I know that car. Oh, he did sell it. And it was Shane. I was like, did you buy a CTSV? He's like, yeah. I just saw you drive by. Because that thing was a monster. That thing was. Did you ever see his CTSV?
Yeah.
That thing was disgusting.
Yeah. That was a dope car.
Man.
I didn't see it in person, but I remember when he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that helped motivate me on my car too. Because like coming from the red lines, I had done like a custom hood and spoiler and stuff like that on that car, and it was like in the community, dude, like the legend, you know. So I was like, that was pretty cool. And then once I bought that, it's like, oh, that's Shane's car. It's like, okay, I'll show you. You know, it's like, no, this is.
Well, and I think that's something that you and I have talked about in the past too. Like, you didn't buy it from Shane. Shane wasn't the previous owner. Shane wasn't the previous owner.
Right.
Shane was the dude that put the car together in a form that gave it recognition, and it kept that recognition until it got to you. And it was, I mean, for better or for worse, The other guys that had the car, they didn't change the wrap. They kept the car the same.
Yeah.
And it continued to look like the car that Shane built.
Yeah.
It continued to be Shane's car. Everybody knew Shane's car. It was Rob's car and Shane's car. Right. And at the time, it was the Vader SS when it was black way back in the day. And then he went to red and did the famous night shoot with the side profile of the car
that
and the glitter wrap.
And his red wrap, I fell in love with that look, with the gold.
Yeah.
It just...
So whenever I bought the car, I was under the impression, because I'm not a fan of red, I was like, the weekend I bring it home, I'm going to be pulling the wrap off. You know? I was like, it's black underneath, I like black, you know? I saw it and was like, this is awesome.
That red color was,
You know?
astounding.
Same thing with the white, but the red still was pop.
People referred to it as the strip of glitter SS. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like.
That's what should have been named.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it fit it very well. But yeah, I know that was something that you were very adamant about getting away from. Not in spite of Shane or any reason. You wanted the car to be your own, and you wasted no time. Not taking what Shane had done out of the car, but just simply putting what you wanted into the car, making the changes that, I mean, you could put the two next to each other, and they're two completely different vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I haven't touched is the 6-speed and the bags. There's nothing else on the car that came with it.
And there would be no reason for you to do either of those.
You had a good starting point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it boiled down to what I sold the orange car for. I basically had to pick one, either the bags or the big turbo set, like to get there. You know, like I sold the orange car and basically needed like $2,900 or more to get. So basically, I had also, because I had to align so many stars to make it all happen, I put up a deposit down with him, so he knew. It's like I sent him like $3,500. It's like, here, I will send you the money. Like, I'll give you the remainder in cash. Because it was planned weeks out, I had ordered wrapped the spoiler that I had already made for the orange car, or it made me finish it because it wasn't finished. It never went on the orange car.
The grill.
The grill was on the orange car, but I wrapped it. Same with the front splitter. So the weekend I brought it home, I was automatically able to drop the diffuser, or the front splitter, the grill, and the spoiler on the car.
Yeah, that grill, man.
I like the grill.
I have a grill.
It's like my it's like
Yeah.
my jet plane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
When you got the car,
Cool.
did you do the ZL1 hood?
Yes.
We did that here.
You know, I was thinking about it when you beat me to it.
Beat you, bitch!
I wanted to do that so bad, but I had the cutout in the hood right now. I was like, fuck, this ain't gonna work.
Yep. So it had the SS in it when I bought it, and then I was like, no, I gotta change that. It's something I didn't do that. You know, I did it on my orange car, but it's been done 10 times. And
we changed the dump tube too.
Mm-hmm.
We put a teardrop in there.
Yeah. I think the only thing that has helped that be the only one so far is like the SS one's like under $100 for the insert.
Yeah.
Like $60.
You know, and that one's just more money. I feel like that's legitimately it. I mean, it is like way too long, but I mean, trim that back.
Yeah.
Know? But yeah, I love that insert. I think it would look good with a little bit of a cowl under it too.
Yeah,
we
raise it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Just like an inch, nothing crazy. We'll see how everything fits once the other way. Because that's the one thing I haven't felt confident yet, is bolting the motor to that trans with the steering rack still in the car and seeing how it fits. You know,
Like I said, you gotta get them feet wet.
you know, I'm open to losing whatever the hell I have to lose, because it is legitimately a fun car for me.
Okay. Also, to the people out there who are like afraid to get your hands dirty or jump right in or like don't know where to start, just do something. Don't overthink it. Just start with something small and work your way up. I mean, there's so much information out there. I mean, it can be jarring too. Like where the hell am I going to start? Start with the basics, bolt-ons, basic things, and then once you get comfortable with that stuff, you start venturing out into the big stuff.
I couldn't agree with you more. When I was working on the red car, and I put the drill bit to the hood to drill that first hole in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was something, I shaved my Blazer and I did that, but like I bought that truck with intentions of doing all of that. This car, I was making payments on this car. Like the bank owned it.
Yeah, it's a bank's car. You sure about
like,
that?
This is the bank's car. Like I'm doing mods that like I might not have any business doing. I don't know how well this was going to turn out. And I specifically remember being out here that night. The video of doing the SS Scoop started during the daylight in my driveway and ended at night in the garage because the time distance between there was when I cut the hole, and I had a fucking anxiety attack in between them. And I had to put it down and I had to walk away, and it was just like, it was so overwhelming to take that first step. And
but when you get
in my HHR experience, that's the only time that's happened. With this car, like...
No. What's today's agenda?
Like, we didn't even wait to cut into the roof. Like, we couldn't wait. Like, there was no hesitation. I don't think there was any hesitation.
No,
I think
you were like, should we measure it? I'm like, no, we already did once. Like, it's good. And then I remember there's some times where, like, I don't know, like, it's his channel. I try not to be... I don't know what he'd like out of me. Like, it's like, should I say this right now? Because I'm seeing a line and it looks fucking terrible. Like, our wives were out there and I stepped off camera and I looked at her and I'm like, I gave her like a head shake, like, oh no. And she's like, what? And I was like, I just did that, But and then I got thinking, it's like, no, it's an optical illusion. We didn't cut the skin. Like, he bought it with the skin trimmed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we made the template off the cut on the skin. So if that line's wonky, that's what we went off of. And then also the HHR gets narrow as you go back, whereas the glass is straight. So that offset makes it look bad, and then they're not symmetrical, and I'm just like, oh no. Like, there's going to be some patches. And it just, once we dropped it in there, we had to even like get it tightly, and it's dropped in C-channeled in. I mean, it is.
I'm not going to say that I can't believe we did it because I knew that we would do it. I just can't believe that it was this easy.
We cut out like what, the thinnest of all braces, and then that one's twice as thick in between the glass now. Like,
yeah, the brace that we cut out in the roof of the car, we were basically replacing it with the brace in between the two pieces of glass on the roof, and it's like a beefier structure.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not losing any structure. We're adding weight.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to need it. That's a very structural point.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was a little worried about. We had talked about bracing the inside of the car before we cut the roof into it, but that too, the car has no suspension on it.
So it's not going to...
It's sitting on 3.5-inch wood blocks on a flat concrete surface that's level.
Yeah.
So
it's not like when you weld that thing in there and then when you put the suspension on, it's not going to...
Right.
And we didn't cut anything, we cut the post out of the B pillar, but we didn't cut anything out to let the car sag out. You know what I mean? It's not like the issues that we could have run into if we were
we just remove the sheet metal on the top.
Yeah.
You gonna see if anyone got comments before we get any deeper?
Has got anything out here? What do you got? What do you got? Eli flew to San Diego to pick mine up and drove 12 hours home. That's insane. Yeah. Jesus. You can always put on more clothes, but can only take off so much. Oh, Eli's talking about the heat.
Did you ever see anything of my red line?
No, did not.
That was a really nice setup. It was like the TBS bigger blower car on the just because it was a Saturn, and I made like a really cool, really proud of how that hood looked at first, But had like the BBS RK2s, I believe. So they were the 2-piece wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up having like ONF Cobalt seats. They were the black and gray setup. I had the red suede installed instead of the gray.
Installed.
Installed.
And it installed.
I mean, went to an upholsterer, and had them upholster in.
I have to ask, since you've experienced a supercharged car and a turbo car, what is your preference?
Well, the S252 was no different to me than the TBS. It was immediate, just like the KO4s. The KO4s are, there is no, if anyone says anything about lag on a KO4 car, they just don't have the right tuning.
Yeah.
Either,
Or they're,
they're not requesting more, the boost whenever they're asking, it's the TBS car, they're both fun. Turbo noises for the win.
Yeah.
The exhaust sounds better.
Better, yes.
There is something about it. The whine.
The uniqueness of
I
the
don't know,
blower was cool.
There's nothing like a good wine.
And I had
With some
learned from
cheese.
like the
Since we're in Wisconsin.
I had learned from the Mustang crowd that they had like, I don't remember what they called it, but it was like a tube from your intake and it brings the noise into the cabin. So I created one of those, and it basically made it even louder in the car, which again, it was cool, and because it sounds like a terribly bad power steering, and it was in a Saturn like that, I had run them for a plate. Like that car was a lot of fun, and I was very new. Like whenever I had that car, I knew nobody up here, so that's what brought me into the whole community in the first place. Was I met people because of the car. I seriously knew my in-laws here, that was it. So having that car was a lot of fun, and I quickly, because of that car, it quickly became like, oh, now you gotta run this car. So it was like, I quickly became part of a fast group here. Like I'm in this group chat that I have no business being in. They all bet like high dollar money, like, and I always tell them that I changed my name in the group to like slowest car in conversation, because it's like my car, if I were to take it out Monday through Friday, I'm honestly not going to find much faster on the road. If I take it out to the city on Friday night or Saturday night, I'm big. It's like there's high horsepower cars out there. It's like,
street racing in Chicago is exactly like you see it on TV.
They lie. They are hustlers. Like, I am not a bullshitter. Like, because I don't
Lock
want
it in and let's go.
I don't want to come off either that like I'm being cocky. It's like I have no ego. I'm driving an HHR. Like I am not. I'm just telling you, it is faster than you're gonna imagine. It's like, so if we're being honest with each other, I'll tell you if I think I'm gonna beat you or not. But I don't want I don't want to come off that I think this is the coolest thing here. It's like, I ended up here. This wasn't like, I'm going to build an HHR, I had it as
I think we've all had it. It's
You
like,
know?
I didn't think I'd be here, but I'm here.
Yeah.
This was a journey I didn't
It's
expect
been
myself.
snowballing. The reason why my whole rear-wheel drive swap came about is because it came to a point where the car reached, like I said, reached a platform where I was like, okay, I don't really have much else I'd do to it, and it became just a fun car and a garage car for me. So it's like, I can't really justify for me fun car being front wheel drive and
Boredom is the enemy.
and
It's
doing
like you just get so used to a setup and you're like,
and like
it's one of
I'm
those
very
things.
competitive with the in-laws,
Mhm.
and like my brother-in-laws, they have like my father-in-law has a 1320 Challenger. My brother-in-law has an SS Camaro. It's like, when we're on the tollway, I am training them. But if I catch them on a light, like, they're gonna get me, And
Dig monsters.
they can always say that, like at the end of the day, and that bothers me. So it's like, man, I'm gonna build a cool car. I'd love a V, ATS or CTS. But let's say I were to buy one right now, 40 grand, and it might even have 60,000 miles. Like, I'd have to finance that, I'm not gonna lie. So it's like, by the time that's paid off, I'd already need a motor, something.
You're moving on to the next stage of debt.
You know, and it's like right now I have no car payments, so it's like
that's nice.
And it just happened last weekend. My wife's trip paid off. Fresh into no car payments. 3 cars all paid off. But it's like, so I could take the HHR, and let's say in a perfect world I would actually get a decent amount for it, which that would be like waiting and waiting and waiting. And I've said the number to you, and you think I'm crazy, but it's like I feel like I think I'm crazy for even would be asking that, and you think it's like too low. It's like, but I would have no hesitation if somebody brought me 15 grand. Like, I'll take it, you know. But then until I start thinking like I'd have to spend another 20 or 30,000.
15 grand, cash in hand, would not replace what that car can do for you.
Right.
As it sits.
And I just kept realizing that it's like, man, it's just financially I could, and I felt like if I were to dump 10 into it, it could be awesome, everything I want. And I'm in it so far. I have everything I need except the clutch and the drive shaft, which the drive shaft won't be known until after. But I have everything I need for it for under 3 grand. You know, like the trans, the bag setup, because I already have the new setup for the rear. Like I have everything but a clutch, which the clutch is pricey. Probably the same as the twin disc for the F40. It's like $1,800 for the clutch and flywheel.
So I can't disclose that information.
You know, you know, I'm not.
Happy wife, happy life. Let's not talk about that.
No, Vern had the twin disc, and he's the one who dumped a pretty penny. I can't disclose that information, but he did.
Yeah.
He's got the dream setup I wanted, so it's probably one of the bonuses why I took on the job. So let's see how this goes together. So.
Right. I'm hoping my F40 kit, whenever I sell it, I hope that that's my clutch and maybe drive shaft. You know, like
It might be a top.
that's the only thing I want out of that.
Just don't let me left
That.
For real.
And I don't know how, you know, I don't know how easily that does sell. I don't know, like, you don't, it's not like you see very many.
Okay, the only thing that's holding me up from doing an F40 swap is I build my turbo kit around the F35. So the way it's positioned, it clears the weights on the shift forks or the shift linkages.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if the F40 is taller,
Right.
but my turbo sits right there, and my drain line comes right down.
Right.
So it's going to be like one of those, like, I'm going to have to tear it apart, see if it fits.
Right.
So that's the only thing holding me up from doing the swap. I was going to be one of those guys who ride the F35 until it dies.
Mm-hmm.
Been there. Mine died.
I treat mine like glass, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
The F40 is, I always describe it as it's very notchy in a good way. It almost feels like it'd be gated, you know? Like I've never driven a gated car, but it's very, like it's, the stock shifter is awesome, you know? Like it is an awesome train. I like it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to feel that in here.
I think it'll be cool to see if the Saab versus Regal, being that you'll have the same turbo setup, will feel any.
I want to see, like, I mean, if I had money, I would love to do like a comparison between
The two trans.
Right. Like I said, I have
what
the
can
Saab
take the
setup.
EBUs, what can't take the EBUs.
Because what, they say that the Saab trans is better for like quarter
The gears are
mile?
longer in the Saab trains than the Regal. I think it's shorter gears.
That'll be one thing I'll be able to play with a little bit more with the rear-wheel drive setup.
Yeah.
I've already found like a calculator and everything to figure out what RPMs or what.
See when you're.
But first gear is going to be short for sure.
You're gonna blow them tires. You're gonna need some sticky ass tire.
Well, I'm running a 409 rear gear.
God,
You know, so
such an odd number too.
yeah.
409s.
But like I'll be able to if I
Too
want
short of
to,
full
I can use like 350Z diffs and everything. You know, so it's like I should be able to play with that within a lot of reason. You know, not have to be reinventing the wheel. That'll be cool.
It's gonna be such a wild car.
I will be. I will.
When is that
apologize.
project gonna start?
I want to.
You're gonna record it, right? You're gonna record everything.
whenever he's around,
Whenever he's around, you're gonna have to
You can
record.
find that build on AHdidit here on YouTube. Like, share,
Yeah.
and subscribe.
So what I brought up to him maybe last week or something, one idea, because I'm wanting to schedule a time, we trailer the car to the drag strip and see what happens. Once that's done, I would like to have the motor and everything pulled before it becomes winter. So that way in winter I can be cutting and mopping up. Because I really don't want it to be a 5-year deal, you know. I would like it to be rolling after winter. You know, like by winter's end, I want to be able to push it out on the wheels. Because
I see why not.
I would think that staying L&F and everything, like, and even knowing which direction the wiring harness is coming from, I'm turning the motor towards the harness. As long as I'm clearing the fuse box but I mean, I've measured them. They're basically a square with the manifolds and everything. It's like, I've done so much thinking that's, you know, like, I feel like it's gotta be fun, you know, other than, like I said, testing the motor and the trans into the engine bay, over the rack, you know. But like I said, I'm okay with having it up. If I have to cowl the hood, I'll do that. I just don't want to have to reinvent the steering. Also, I've seen like the LS1s or LS swap HHR do was they notched the subframe and dropped it into the subframe, because I'm keeping the front subframe in there just so that way I don't have to redo the front suspension.
Yeah. Starting from scratch from front
Right.
to back.
But I mean, if I have to modify the subframe, whatever, it's not. So with his help, I'm pretty confident.
Hey, look, man, you're so
Shit. No, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, we've talked about his car so many times, and he's sent me pictures of things, and we've, you know.
Like, I didn't choose that subframe by accident.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I had kept looking and looking and looking. I'd get measurements. I did not want to
the
have
mounts
to do wide
of that
body.
rear subframe.
The measurements were those.
line up
that
with-
rear, man. It looks like you were gonna have a lot more room than the
They-
stock I did.
Yeah, so it's 3/4 of an inch narrower on each side.
Good.
So
Do a little mini tub.
yes, which is why I had those strut towers. I'm hoping to be able to just integrate
Cut
that
it off
portion.
there and tub it over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
Rob, it's so close that there's 4 mounting points on the rear subframe. The rear 2 are the easiest for us to do, because no matter what, they land between the factory unibody frame rails.
Yeah.
So it's like, make a cross member,
Bolted in.
done.
Yeah.
Those 2 are cake. You know, the front ones land almost exactly where the rear beam mounts, to where
those triangular
Like it was
plates.
meant to be.
It's
to where we could
so
almost,
fucking close.
you know, we could almost modify the rear subframe to bolt up in that exact same spot. You know, like, and then like I said, as long as that's centered,
Only thing you have to keep track of is the tail shaft of that transmission and that line up.
right, within 3 degrees.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Gotta keep that pinion.
I shouldn't need, like a slit, because being independent, that will never change. Whether the car's aired out or not, that rear diff angle will never change. So my next,
You're gonna have to put that thing in the car, put the suspension in, and then double check your travel.
yes, so that was my next thing, is I have to, I would think the height of that rear subframe is where it needs to be mounted in the car, is when, for like a little bit of anti-squat, I need the arms not level, but a little at a degree, and then where I want my ride height, and then that's where that subframe needs to
You're
be.
gonna have to probably do some adjustable links somewhere.
They're all
So
adjustable.
you're just gonna have to
Everything is.
work it from back and forth, up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
So
Every
so-
arm on that.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Every single arm on that rear subframe Because it's like the drifting car of all time, you know, is a joke. Like, super awesome.
What did you pay for the body that we bought?
$150.
Good deal.
And it was that rear
based
that or the rear cross piece in there, the rear cross member and all of that. The
strut towers,
towers. That we had been going back and forth about for a couple weeks. Like, we're gonna have to figure out how to like mount the rear struts, have them positioned to then get measurements for like putting plates up there and mounting plates, and then like I have a 7-inch tube, steel tube that we were going to use, that we were going to make strut towers out of. And it's like, then he hits me up with this link. He's like, dude, what do you think about this? And we just cut this out of the back of the car.
Right, I had messaged the guy and asking him like, hey, would you sell me the rear strut towers? Like, that's all I wanted, because originally I was trying to look online to find just like a top hat, because then I knew that those would fit the new bag of coilovers that I had. Mm-hmm. So I was legitimately just trying to find a top hat, whether it was like a coilover mount, whatever it was, but I wanted it to be steel so it could be easily welded into steel, you know? And I found this marketplace listing. I asked him about the strut towers, and then I was like, and if you could keep the bar that's going across, so then they're set to the exact width that I need for the rear subframe. Like, that takes one less thing of my thinking that has to be thought about. It's done. Let's put this in. And he was like, oh, I'll just cut the whole back half off if you want it. I'm like, yeah. And it just opened up the whole, who knows? Like I said, I don't know if I'll use, how much of that floor I'll use, but it's like,
well, the best part
having it.
The best part is you have that donut car. So you can already test fit everything.
Yep.
Like, you're going to test fit everything, and then you know where to cut on your car.
Right.
So you're not, like, cutting things out, welding patches back in because you're too short on one side or you're too long.
And that car, the parts car that's there. That's the one that we cut the rockers out of. So for Kevin's car, that car has literally been tossed around.
Yeah.
Between the three of us, and we were
going to junk it, and then I was like, dude, I'd love, and you offered, and you were like, I mean, we could put it behind my mom's house, and I was like, that would make my life so much better. You know, I've even thought about, Aaron, to be honest with you, having you, like, let's put that car in my garage first. I can park mine, and then we could put that in my garage, and I could start getting that fitted in.
Yeah, it's one. Beep beep beep.
Yeah, that's a pretty big building back there, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
probably 8-er.
I think so.
I don't know how far that way it goes.
I see a man door back there. It's a big ass garage door. What are we doing here, Joe?
Waiting, I guess. We are.
What are we doing?
What year's the car? Picking up. I don't know what year it is, but it's an S13. Just like the back, basically wheel wells and strut towers. So that way I can use those to weld them into the HHR.
Because you've already got that rear end, right?
Yep, the rear end's from, not this exact same car, but this same car. And this will come with the front subframe mounts as well.
And that's because what that'll save us like all the math.
Any thinking. You know?
Look at this fucking guy. There he is.
Heck yeah.
There he is. Let's fucking make it easy on him. Holy shit. I was about to talk shit on that guy, and it's like, holy fuck, that's our guy.
There it is.
You know, we'll come to you, bud. We'll fucking come to you. We're gonna make this work. Shit, we're gonna load this thing up exactly how he has it too.
Yep.
Shit. Man, this guy's my kind of fucking hillbilly. Shit. Is that a Ford fucking Ranger? That's not going to come forward anymore.
Oh, you want to try wrapping around it?
How are we? Oh yeah, there. Pull this. Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, measure twice, cut once. It's like, no, we're going to measure twice and we're going to cut it twice to make sure that it fits right that second time perfectly, just simply because we have the car that's already got the back half cut off.
You make templates on everything.
Yeah, so then we know what to cut, then we can cut it out of his car and then just bring that whole thing up from the bottom. Because that was the other conversation. It's like, we're going to have to be able to get this into the car through the back, either through the hatch or through the doors, and we're not going to have any room to rotate it in the car. So that was a thought too. So then it's like, well, then we got to bring it in from underneath. Well, that solves our problem. If we cut it once in that car, we'll be able to, we'll figure it out. Yep. And, like we've talked about it, like your spare tire well, like that's gone. So, it's like, oh, fucking big ass shiny muffler back there for people to see.
There you go.
Right, and I cut out those vents in the diffuser so that way when it is gone I can do, because I want to do a single in, dual out.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions for me?
Did you get all 3 cars out?
What do you mean?
It was Phil, Mad.
Oh, sorry. Phil, the red car. Red car was great. It was
I
nice.
love the whole theme of that.
It was nice. Then the story behind it was really great.
Thank you. Yeah, I was very proud of that car. I was super proud of it.
It was kind of, to toot your horn, it was kind of refreshing to see somebody else come up and start doing mods. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but when I've been in here for so long, it was like a bunch of old guys. There were some young guys, and I was like, I think it was the youngest, like 30 or something. I can't remember, but yeah, it was just me, Phil. There was other guys. Shield with it's now Brett's car, and no, it was refreshing to see someone take their own stance and do their own thing.
Yeah, thanks. I enjoyed that car. I love building it. I love the idea of.
I like a lot of your ideas.
The GMC stuff, yeah, and that was the thing. Like, the performance stuff that I did to the car. I'd never done any performance to any car before. My Blazer is all stock.
Mm-hmm.
Performance has never really been a thing of mine.
Your mini trucker.
Yeah, mini truckers, straight up like visual mods that you can see. You're gonna see me before you hear me before anything else. Yeah.
Anytime I open up Mini Trucker magazine, the engine's always the last one touched.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Body. It's shaved, freshly painted. They spent. Like
and when they get to the engine at that point, if it's the guys that do the engine on the mini trucks, it's like nowadays, it's like if you're not going to LS swap it, don't even bother. Don't even bother.
Make sure it's
clean. Yeah, just make sure it's clean and just be done with it. And that was kind of my thing. Like my engine bay in my Blazer was clean. When I got the SS, and really just wanting a fun car to drive, I knew that was having the base model. I knew that was kind of a good entry platform. Everybody said that the SS was an easy car to work on. We brought them up earlier. I bought a downpipe from Johnny Wynn and contacted.
Always great pricing.
Yeah, from him.
Yeah.
He hooked me up on a bunch of shit.
Me too.
Got a downpipe from him, and then immediately called Tom Rominski from Crate Engine Depot.
Yeah.
And Crate Engine Depot was local to me.
Yeah, Tom's
and I brought him my car, and he invited me in. He showed me around the shop. Like, I had friends that had worked for that dealership who knew Tom personally, so he didn't know who I was, but because I knew people that he knew, it was easy for him to talk to me or whatever. So we got to talking about my Blazer, and I showed him pictures of everything, and here I am dropping my car off after only having it for a week with a downpipe, the 3-bar map sensors and the stage kit, right? And having him put it on there, and I paid him to do it. And when I picked the car up, he kind of pulled me off the side. He's like, Aaron, he's like, I appreciate you asking me to do this and paying this bill or whatever, but he told me flat out, he's like, everything that I just did to your car that you paid me to do, you are more than capable of doing this stuff yourself. And I took that information, I appreciated it, I have the utmost respect for Tom, and it pushed me to the point where I was like, all right, well shit, let's just go and do whatever I want to do with it. His few words just, I remember when I was leaving there, he's like, careful, he's like, first gear is short and second gear pulls to the right. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't long after that I met all of you guys out at the drag strip for the ZZP thing. And then we did that Friday night car show out by Woodfield. And that's when I met Lainey and Rowan when Lainey was pregnant with Jet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when because we were about to have the second kid, that's when I was like, hey man, let me sit in this and see if, because I was familiar with the platform being in the Ion. I was like, let me see if this could be my next move. I was like, it's ugly enough to still be cool.
This was basically our first conversation.
Yeah.
Like, we had met at the ZZP thing that they had at the drag strip up here, but when I met Joe and his group and the group of guys that were, dude, why did you flick that beat like, that was the first conversation that we had, was basically him asking me the comfort value of my car, because he's got a baby coming, and he knew that we just had our second kid, because Lincoln is just older than Jet. So it was like, man, like I like this dude. Like, he's asking me like a genuine question about family values because of the car that I'm driving. Like, he doesn't give a shit about the things that I've done to it. And I mean, like, that was,
as long as it's comfortable. I mean, kid's gonna fall asleep in the back. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
Because like the red line was fine for one car seat. It fit in the middle between the two seats. Like, because me and my wife are both tall, like, or tall, But so the red line, having the car seat in the middle was not a problem whatsoever.
the third door.
But I knew that 4 doors. What's really cool is you can remove, like, so they all start black, but you can remove every single body panel on those cars. Like, a rear quarter is like 8 bolts, and you could bolt on. So like, to do a color change, like if you found a red car at the junkyard, you could do a color change in seriously an afternoon. Just bolting, like the door skins, that's 4 bolts holding the exterior door skins on. It's very simple to remove all the plastic panels. Like, the only metal panel on that is the roof skin, the hood, and part of the trunk.
Really?
Yeah. Like, unbelievable. Very cool. Very interesting car to work on. And I remember I thought my first one, because I bought my first red line on my move up here. Like, an hour into my drive, I pulled over, bought the car, continued on my drive with this new car. I thought it was cool. I got it for dirt cheap. And then I met people from the Ecotech pages. Like I said, I knew nobody. I'm not a drinker, but they were all at like a Twin Peaks or something like that, whatever it was called. I enjoy people, but sometimes I get, like, especially not knowing a single person, it's like, ooh, man. So I went straight to the bar. It was like, I'll take a beer, and then I took a tall boy, like, went to the table, introduced myself. So every time, like, they'd have a meet, I'd go to start, like, getting in, but I'd go to the bar first. For the longest time, everyone thought like I was a drunk because I drink a beer every time they see me. I was drinking, and like I said,
but you were just trying to.
That's the only time I drink. It's like I'm trying to get myself to not be like an awkward weirdo just sitting here in silence, So yeah, then I quickly changed.
Yeah, we got a pretty good group of guys around here.
I was telling them it seems it's kind of not in a bad way, but COVID split it into smaller tiers. We like I know I used to be more active in the Midwest chat before COVID. Like, there was no other secondary chats, you know, like, but then people became so focused on, people started doing more and more shit to each other's cars too, that it was like, okay, you guys both have LSJs, so they're just talking more. We both have the HHRSSs and Kevin, and it's like, so we were talking more. Like, COVID almost broke it up a little bit, and it's not like, I don't know, it's not a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's bad.
There's
I
no,
definitely know
there's
what you
no
mean.
sour taste in anybody's mouth. But because of COVID, though, like, even Ron and Pat became closer.
100%. The
You
things
and
that
I
they talk about, I
you know?
can't figure out because I'm so lost in their conversation.
You and I became closer. They're close together. We're close together. It was like, those were the only things that we were really a lot like. It was weird for a long time, you know. So you and I getting together really happened. I feel like we got close because of COVID. You know?
Cool, for sure.
I mean, that's one good thing that came out of it.
Right.
This is like a good podcast. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, I hope to do more stuff like this on the channel with other people. I think for this first bench racing, whatever you want to call it, having Rob here, I mean, awesome. I thought it was awesome.
A great time.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
Worth the trip, for sure.
All right. You guys, have a good night. Don't do anything I wouldn't do twice. Say bye, Joe.
You guys out?
Yeah, we're turning out. Joe's gonna come say bye. So I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. The likes, the shares, the comments, all that good stuff. We all
Whatever
appreciate it.
answers that doesn't get done, I'll answer them on my.
Yeah. You guys, do you have any more questions? Throw it up here in the chat. We can come back and answer them. So
Probably
this
still be awake another 2 hours because of the
yeah, this is all gonna be posted. So yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out. Let's take it easy.
See ya. Oh.